Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. Invitation. If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer. If you're a pretender, come sit by my fire, for we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in, come in. The Acrobats. I'll swing by my ankles, she'll cling to your knees, as you hang by your nose from a high-up trapeze. But just one thing, please, as we float through the breeze. Don't sneeze. Magic. Sandra's seen a leprechaun, Eddie's touched a troll. Laurie danced with witches once, Charlie found some goblin's gold. Donald heard a mermaid sing, Susie spied an elf, but all the magic I have known I've had to make myself. Homemade boat. This boat that we built is just fine, and don't try to tell us it's not. The sides and the back are divine. It's the bottom, I guess we forgot. I must remember. I must remember. Turkey on Thanksgiving, pudding on Christmas, eggs on Easter, chicken on Sunday, fish on Friday, leftovers Monday. But, ah me, I'm such a dunce. I went and ate them all at once. The fourth. Oh, crash! My bash! It's bang! The zang! Fourth whoosh! Of baroom! July whew! Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Went for a ride in a flying shoe. Hooray, what fun! It's time we flew, said Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Ickle was captain and Pickle was crew, and Tickle served coffee and mulligan stew. As higher and higher and higher they flew, Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too, over the sun and beyond the blue. Hold on, stay in, I hope we do, cried Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too, never returned to the world they knew. And nobody knows what's happened to dear Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Captain Hook. Captain Hook must remember not to scratch his toes. Captain Hook must watch out and never pick his nose. Captain Hook must be gentle when he shakes your hand. Captain Hook must be careful openin' sardine cans, and playin' tag and pouring tea, and turnin' pages of his book. Lots of folks I'm glad I ain't, but mostly Captain Hook. Hug-a-war. I will not play at tug-o'-war. I'd rather play at hug-a-war, where everyone hugs instead of tugs, where everyone giggles and rolls on the rug, where everyone kisses and everyone grins, and everyone cuddles and everyone wins. It's dark in here. I am writing these poems from inside a lion, and it's rather dark in here, so please excuse the handwriting, which may not be too clear. But this afternoon, by the lion's cage, I'm afraid I got too near. And I'm writing these lines from inside a lion, and it's rather dark in here. Our orchestra. So you haven't got a drum, just beat your belly. So I haven't got a horn, I'll play my nose. So we haven't any cymbals, we'll just slap our hands together. And though there may be orchestras that sound a little better, with their fancy shiny instruments that cost an awful lot, hey, we're making music twice as good by playing what we've got. Flag. One star is for Alaska, one star is for Nebraska, one star is North Dakota, one star is Minnesota. There are lots of other stars, but I forgot which ones they are. Colors. My skin is kind of sort of brownish, pinkish, yellowish white. My eyes are grayish, bluish green, but I'm told they look orange in the night. My hair is reddish, blondish brown, but it's silver when it's wet. And all the colors I am inside have not been invented yet. The loser. Mama said I'd lose my head if it wasn't fastened on. Today I guess it wasn't, 'cause while playing with my cousin, it fell off and rolled away, and now it's gone. And I can't look for it, 'cause my eyes are in it, and I can't call to it, 'cause my mouth is on it. Couldn't hear me anyway, 'cause my ears are on it. Can't even think about it 'cause my brain is in it. So I guess I'll sit down on this rock and rest for just a minute. Joey. Joey took a stone and knocked down the sun, and whoosh it swizzled down so hard, and bloop it bounced in his backyard, and glunk it landed on his toe, and the world was dark, and the corn wouldn't grow, and the wind wouldn't blow, and the cock wouldn't crow, and it always was night, 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 all because of a stone and Joe. Listen to the mustn'ts. Listen to the mustn'ts, child, listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts, the impossibles, the won'ts. Listen to the never haves, then listen close to me. Anything can happen, child. Anything can be. Jimmy Jet and his TV set. I'll tell you the story of Jimmy Jet, and you know what I tell you is true. He loved to watch his TV set almost as much as you. He watched all day, he watched all night, till he grew pale and lean, from the early show to the late, late show, and all the shows between. He watched till his eyes were frozen wide, and his bottom grew into his chair, and his chin turned into a tuning dial, and antenna grew out of his hair, and his brain turned into TV tubes, and his face to a TV screen, and two knobs saying vert and hors grew where his ears had been. And he grew a plug that looked like a tail, so we plugged in little Jim. And now, instead of watching TV, we all sit around and watch him. Early bird. Oh, if you're a bird, be an early bird, and catch the worm for your breakfast plate. If you're a bird, be an early bird, but if you're a worm, sleep late. Sky seasoning. A piece of sky broke off and fell through the crack in the ceiling right into my soup. Kerplop! I really must state that I usually hate lentil soup, but I ate every drop. Delicious, delicious. A bit like plaster, but so delicious, goodness sake. I could have eaten a lentil soup lake. It's amazing the difference a bit of sky can make. The Farmer and the Queen. She's coming, the farmer said to the owl. Oh, what shall I do? Shall I bow when she comes? Shall I twiddle my thumbs? The owl asked. Who? The Queen, the royal Queen. She'll pass the farm today. Shall I salute? He asked the horse. The horse said nay. Shall I give her a gift? He asked the wren. A lovely memento for her to keep? An egg or a peach or an ear of corn? The wren said, cheap. But should I curtsy or should I cheer? Oh, here's her carriage now. What should I do? He asked the dog. The dog said, bow. And so he did, and so she passed. Oh, tra-la-la-la-la. She smiled, she did, he told the sheep. The sheep said bah. Pancake? Who wants a pancake, sweet and piping hot? Good little Grace looks up and says, I'll take the one on top. Who else wants a pancake, fresh off the griddle? Terrible Teresa smiles and said, I'll take the one in the middle. Smart. My dad gave me $1 bill 'cause I'm his smartest son, and I swapped it for 2 shiny quarters 'cause 2 is more than 1. And then I took the quarters and traded them to Lou for 3 dimes. I guess he don't know that 3 is more than 2. Just then along came old blind Bates, and just 'cause he can't see, he gave me 4 nickels for my 3 dimes, and 4 is more than 3. And I took the nickels to Hiram Coombs down at the seed feed store, and the fool gave me 5 pennies for them, and 5 is more than 4. And then I went and showed my dad, and he got red in the cheeks, and closed his eyes and shook his head, too proud of me to speak. Us. Me and him and me. We're always together, as you can see. I wish he'd leave so I'd be free. I'm getting a little bit tired of he, and he may be a bit bored with me. On movies and ladies we cannot agree. I like to dance, he loves to ski. He loves the mountains, I love the sea. I like hot chocolate, he wants his tea. I want to sleep, he has to pee. He's meaner and duller and fatter than me, but I guess there's worse things we could be. Instead of two, we could be three. Me and him and me. I'm making a list. I'm making a list of the things I must say for politeness, and goodness and kindness, and gentleness, sweetness and rightness. Hello. Pardon me. How are you? Excuse me. Bless you. May I? Thank you. Goodbye. If you know some that I forgot, please stick them in your eye. Me and my giant. I have a friend who is a giant, and he lives where the tall weeds grow. He's high as a mountain and wide as a barn, and I only come up to his toe. You know, I only come up to his toe. When the daylight grows dim, I talk with him, way down in the marshy sands, and his ear is too far away to hear. But he still understands. He stands. I know he understands. For we have a code called the Scratch Tap Code, and here is what we do. I scratch his toe. Once means hello, and twice means how are you? 3 means does it look like rain? 4 times means don't cry. 5 times means I'll scratch you a joke, and 6 times means goodbye, goodbye. 6 times means goodbye. And he answers me by tapping his toe. Once means hello, friend. 2 taps means it's very nice to feel your scratch again. 3 taps means I'm lonely here, with my head in the top of the sky. 4 taps means today an eagle smiled as she flew by. 5 taps means oops, I just bumped my head against the moon. 6 means sigh, and 7 means bye, and 8 means come back soon, soon, soon. 8 means come back soon. And then I scratch 1,000 times, and he taps with a bappity bim, and he laughs so hard he shakes the sky. That means I'm tickling him. Rain. I opened my eyes and looked up at the rain, and it dripped in my head and flowed into my brain. And all that I hear as I lie in my bed is the slishety slosh of the rain in my head. I step very softly, I walk very slow. I can't do a handstand, I might overflow. So pardon the wild, crazy thing I just said. It's just not the same since there's rain in my head. 2 boxes. 2 boxes met upon the road, said one unto the other. If you're a box, and I'm a box, then you must be my brother. Our sides are thin, we're caving in, and we must get no thinner. And so 2 boxes, hand in hand, went home to have their dinner. True story. This morning I jumped on my horse and went out for a ride, and some wild outlaws chased me, and they shot me in the side. So I crawled into a wildcat's cave to find a place to hide. But some pirates found me sleeping there, and soon they had me tied to a pole and built a fire under me. I almost cried, till a mermaid came and cut me loose and begged to be my bride. So I said I'd come back Wednesday, but I must admit I lied. Then I ran into a jungle swamp, but I forgot my guide, and I stepped into some quicksand, and no matter how I tried, I couldn't get out until I met a water snake named Clyde, who pulled me to some cannibals who planned to have me fried. But an eagle came and swooped me up, and through the air we flied. But he dropped me in a boiling lake 1,000 miles wide, and you'll never guess what I did then. I died. Boa constrictor. Oh, I'm being eaten by a boa constrictor. A boa constrictor, a boa constrictor. I'm being eaten by a boa constrictor, and I don't like it one bit. Well, what do you know? It's nibbling my toe. Oh, gee, it's up to my knee. Oh, my, it's up to my thigh. Oh, fiddle, it's up to my middle. Oh, heck, it's up to my neck. Oh, dread, it's oh. Hector the Collector. Hector the Collector collected bits of string, collected dolls with broken heads and rusty bells that would not ring. Pieces out of picture puzzles, bent up nails and ice cream sticks, twists of wires, worn out tires, paper bags and broken bricks. Old chipped vases, half shoelaces, Gatling guns that wouldn't shoot, leaky boats that wouldn't float, and stopped up horns that wouldn't toot, butter knives that had no handles, copper keys that fit no locks, rings that were too small for fingers, dried up leaves and patched up socks, worn out belts that had no buckles, electric trains that had no tracks, airplane models, broken bottles, three-legged chairs and cups with cracks. Hector the collector loved these things with all his soul, loved them more than shining diamonds, loved them more than glistening gold. Hector called to all the people, "Come and share my treasure trunk." And all the silly, sightless people came and looked, and called it junk. Invention. I've done it! I've done it! Guess what I've done? Invented a light that plugs into the sun. The sun is bright enough, the bulb is strong enough. But oh, there's only one thing wrong. The cord ain't long enough. For sale. One sister for sale, one sister for sale, one crying and spying young sister for sale. I'm really not kidding, so who'll start the bidding? Do I hear a dollar, a nickel, a penny? Oh, isn't there any one kid who'll buy this old sister for sale? This crying and spying young sister for sale? Sleeping sardines. I'm tired of eating just beans, says I, so I opened a can of sardines. But they started to squeak, "Hey, we're trying to sleep. We were snuggled up tight till you let in the light. You big silly sap, let us finish our nap, now close the lid." So that's what I did. Will somebody please pass the beans? 1 inch tall. If you were only 1 inch tall, you'd ride a worm to school. The teardrop of a crying ant would be your swimming pool. A crumb of cake would be a feast, and last you 7 days at least. A flea would be a frightening beast, if you were 1 inch tall. If you were only 1 inch tall, you'd walk beneath the door, and it would take about a month to get down to the store. A bit of fluff would be your bed, you'd swing upon a spider's thread, and wear a thimble on your head, if you were 1 inch tall. You'd surf across the kitchen sink upon a stick of gum. You couldn't hug your mama, you'd just have to hug her thumb. You'd run from people's feet in fright, to move a pen would take all night. This poem took 14 years to write, 'cause I'm just 1 inch tall. Enter this deserted house. But please walk softly as you do. Frogs dwell here, and crickets too. Ain't no ceiling, only blue. Jays dwell here, and sunbeams too. Floors are flowers. Take a few. Ferns grow here, and daisies too. Whoosh, swoosh, to wit, to woo. Bats dwell here, and hoot owls too. Ha ha ha, hee hee, hoo hoo. Gnomes dwell here, and goblins too. And my child, I thought you knew. I dwell here, and so do you. Sick. I cannot go to school today, said little Peggy Ann McKay. I have the measles and the mumps, a gash, a rash, and purple bumps. My mouth is wet, my throat is dry, I'm going blind in my right eye. My tonsils are as big as rocks, I've counted 16 chicken pox, and there's one more, that's 17. And don't you think my face looks green? My leg is cut, my eyes are blue, it might be instamatic flu. I cough and sneeze and gasp and choke, I'm sure that my left leg is broke. My hip hurts when I move my chin, my belly button's caving in. My back is wrenched, my ankle's sprained, my appendix pains each time it rains. My nose is cold, my toes are numb, I have a sliver in my thumb. My neck is stiff, my spine is weak, I hardly whisper when I speak. My tongue is filling up my mouth, I think my hair is falling out. My elbow's bent, my spine ain't straight, my temperature is 108. My brain is shrunk, I cannot hear, there's a hole inside my ear. I have a hangnail, and my heart is... What? What's that? What's that you say? You say today is Saturday? Goodbye. I'm going out to play. Upstairs. There's a family of wrens who live upstairs. Upstairs, upstairs, upstairs. Inside my hat all cozy in. My hair, my hair, my hair. I've moved a dozen times and still they're here, they're here, they're here. I'd like to get away from them, but where, but where, but where? This hat just isn't big enough to share, to share, to share. But now I see you're bored and you don't care, don't care, don't care. About the wrens who live inside my hair, my hair, my hair. The garden. Old man Simon planted a diamond, grew himself a garden, the likes of none. Sprouts all growin', comin' up, glowin', fruits of jewels all shinin' in the sun. Colors of the rainbow, see the sun and rain grow. Sapphires and rubies on ivory vines, grapes of jade just ripenin' in the shade, just ready for the squeezin' into green jade wine. Pure gold corn there, blowin' in the warm air. Old crow nibblin' on the amethyst seeds, in between the diamonds. Old man Simon crawls about pullin' out platinum weeds, pink pearl berries, all you can carry. Put 'em in a bushel and haul 'em into town. Up in the tree there's opal nuts and gold pears. Hurry quick, grab a stick, and shake some down. Take a silver tater, emerald tomater, fresh plump coral melons, hangin' in reach. Old man Simon, diggin' in his diamonds, stops and rests, and dreams about one real peach. Jumping rope. This started out as a jumping rope. You'll probably think that I'm a dope. But this started out as a jumping rope, and now I fear there is no hope. But this started out as a jumping rope. Who? Who can kick a football from here out to Afghanistan? I can. Who fought tigers in the street while all the policemen ran and hid? I did. Who will fly and have X-ray eyes and be known as the man no bullet can kill? I will. Who can sit and tell me lies all night? I might. Ridiculous Rose. Her mamma said, "Don't eat with your fingers." "Okay," said Ridiculous Rose. So she ate with her toes. Where the sidewalk ends. There is a place where the sidewalk ends, and before the street begins. And there the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright. And there the moonbird rests from his flight, to cool in the peppermint wind. Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black, and the dark street winds and bends. Past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow, we shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk white arrows go, to the place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk white arrows go. For the children they mark, and the children they know the place where the sidewalk ends. Snowman. 'Twas the first day of the springtime, and the snowman stood alone, as the winter snows were melting, and the pine trees seemed to groan. "Ah, you poor, sad, smiling snowman, you'll be melting by and by," said the snowman. "What a pity, for I'd like to see July. Yes, I'd like to see July, and please don't ask me why. But I'd like to, yes, I'd like to. Oh, I'd like to see July." Chirped a robin just arriving. "Seasons come and seasons go, and the great ice must crumble when it's flowers' time to grow. And as one thing is beginning, so another thing must die. And there's never been a snowman who has ever seen July. No, they never see July, no matter how hard they try. No, they never, ever, never, ever, never see July." But the snowman sniffled his carrot nose and said, "At least I'll try." And he bravely smiled his frosty smile and blinked his coal black eye. And there he stood and faced the sun, ablazing from the sky. And I really cannot tell you if he ever saw July. Did he ever see July? You can guess as well as I, if he ever, if he never, if he ever saw July. The Crocodile's Toothache. The crocodile went to the dentist and sat down in the chair. And the dentist said, "Now tell me, sir, why does it hurt, and where?" And the crocodile said, "I'll tell you the truth. I have a terrible ache in my tooth." And he opened his jaws so wide, that the dentist, he climbed right inside. And the dentist laughed, "Oh, isn't this fun?" as he pulled the teeth out, one by one. And the crocodile cried, "You're hurting me so. Please put down your pliers and let me go." But the dentist just laughed with a ho ho ho, and he said, "I still have 12 to go." "Oops, that's the wrong one, I confess. But what's one crocodile's tooth, more or less?" Then suddenly the jaws went snap, and the dentist was gone right off the map. And where he went one could only guess, to north or south, or east or west. He left no forwarding address. But what's one dentist, more or less? Thumbs. Oh, the thumb sucker's thumb may look wrinkled and wet, and withered and white as the snow, but the taste of a thumb is the sweetest taste yet, as only we thumb suckers know. Wild boar. If you tell me the wild boar has 20 teeth, I'll say, "Why, sure." Or say that he has 33, that number's quite all right with me. Or scream that he has 99, I'll never say that you are lying. For the number of teeth in a wild boar's mouth is a subject I'm glad I know nothing about. Lester. Lester was given a magic wish by the goblin who lives in the banyan tree, and with his wish he wished for two more wishes. So now, instead of just one wish, he cleverly had three. And with each one of these he simply wished for three more wishes, which gave him 3 old wishes plus 9 new. And with each of these 12 he slyly wished for three more wishes, which added up to 46. Or is it 52? Well, anyway, he used each wish to wish for wishes till he had 5,007,018,034, and then he spread them on the ground, and clapped his hands, and danced around. He skipped and sang, and then sat down, and wished for more, and more, and more. They multiplied, while other people smiled and cried, and loved and reached and touched and felt. Lester sat amid his wealth, stacked mountains high like stacks of gold, sat and counted and grew old. And then one Thursday night they found him dead, with his wishes piled around him. And they counted the lot and found that not a single one was missing, all shiny and new, here to take a few. And think of Lester as you do, in a world of apples and kisses and shoes. He wasted his wishes on wishing. Sarah Cynthia Sylvia Stout would not take the garbage out. Sarah Cynthia Sylvia Stout would not take the garbage out. She'd scour the pots and scrape the pans, candy the yams and spice the hams. And though her daddy would scream and shout, she simply would not take the garbage out. And so it piled up to the ceilings, coffee grounds, potato peelings, brown bananas, rotten peas, chunks of sour cottage cheese. It filled the can, it covered the floor, it cracked the window and blocked the door, with bacon rinds and chicken bones, drippy ends of ice cream cones, prune pits, peach pits, orange peel, gloppy glumps of cold oatmeal, pizza crusts and withered greens, soggy beans and tangerines, crusts of black burned buttered toast, gristly bits of beefy roasts. The garbage rolled on down the hall, It raised the roof, it broke the wall. Greasy napkins, cookie crumbs, globs of gooey bubble gum, cellophane from green bologna, rubbery blubbery macaroni, peanut butter caked and dry, curdled milk and crusts of pie, moldy melons, dried up mustard, eggshells mixed with lemon custard, cold French fries and rancid meat, yellow lumps of cream of wheat. At last the garbage reached so high that it finally touched the sky, and all the neighbors moved away, and none of her friends would come to play. And finally Sarah Cynthia Stout said, "Okay, I'll take the garbage out." But then, of course, it was too late. The garbage reached across the state, from New York to the Golden Gate, and there in the garbage she did hate. Poor Sarah met an awful fate that I can right now relate, because the hour is much too late. But children, remember Sarah Stout, and always take the garbage out. Drats. Can anyone lend me two 80-pound rats? I want to rid of my house of cats. Hat. Teddy said it was a hat, so I put it on. Now Dad is saying, where the heck's the toilet plunger gone? My rules. If you want to marry me, here's what you'll have to do. You must learn how to make a perfect chicken dumpling stew. And you must sew my holy socks, and soothe my troubled mind, and develop the knack for scratching my back, and keep my shoes spotlessly shined. And while I rest, you must rake up the leaves, and when it is hailing and snowing, you must shovel the walk, and be still when I talk. And hey, where are you going? Oh, have you heard? Oh, have you heard? It's time for vacations. I think someone put salt into your tea. They're giving us 11-month vacations, and Florida has sunk into the sea. Oh, have you heard? The president has measles. The principal had just burned down the school, and your hair is full of ants and purple weasels. April Fool! Warning. Inside everybody's nose there lives a sharp-toothed snail, so if you stick your finger in, he may bite off your nail. Stick it farther up inside, and he may bite your ring off. Stick it all the way, and he may bite the whole darn thing off. The Unicorn. A long time ago, when the earth was green, and there was more kinds of animals than you've ever seen, and they run around free while the world was being born, and the loveliest of all was the unicorn. There was green alligators and long-necked geese. There was humpy-bumpy camels and chimpanzees. There was cats and rats and elephants. But sure as you're born, the loveliest of all was the unicorn. But the Lord seen some sin in, and it caused him pain. He says, "Stand back, I'm gonna make it rain." He says, "Hey, brother Noah, I'll tell you what you do. Go and build me a floatin' zoo. And you take two alligators and a couple of geese, two humpy-bumpy camels, and two chimpanzees. Take two cats and rats and elephants. But sure as you're born, Noah, don't you forget my unicorn." Now Noah was there, and he answered the callin', and he finished up the ark just as the rain started fallin'. He marched in the animals two by two, and he called out as they went through, "Hey Lord, I got your two alligators, and your couple of geese, your humpy bumpy camels, and your two chimpanzees. Got your cats and rats and elephants, but Lord, I'm so forlorn, 'cause I don't see no unicorn." Old Noah looked out through the drivin' rain, but the unicorns were hidin', playin' silly games. They were kickin' and splashin' in the misty morn. Oh, them silly unicorn. Then the goat started goatin', and the snake started snakin'. The elephant started elephantin', and the boat started shakin'. The mouse started squeakin', and the lion started roarin', and everyone's aboard but the unicorn. I mean the green alligators and the long-necked geese, the humpy-bumpy camels and the chimpanzees. Noah cried, "Close the door, 'cause the rain is pourin', and we just can't wait for them unicorn." Then the ark started movin', and it drifted with the tide, and the unicorns looked up from the rocks and cried, and the water come up and sort of floated them away. That's why you've never seen a unicorn to this day. You'll see a lot of alligators and a whole mess of geese. You'll see humpy bumpy camels and lots of chimpanzees. You'll see cats and rats and elephants, but I'm sure as you're born, you're never gonna see no unicorn. Treehouse. A treehouse, a free house, a secret you and me house, a high up in the leafy branches, cozy as can be house. A street house, a neat house, be sure and wipe your feet house, is not my kind of house at all. Let's go live in a tree house. The flying festoon. Oh, I'm going to ride on the flying festoon. I'll jump on his back and I'll whistle a tune, and we'll fly to the outermost tip of the moon, the flying festoon and I. I'm taking a sandwich and ball and a prune, and we're leaving this evening precisely at noon, for I'm going to fly with the flying festoon just as soon as he learns how to fly. No difference. Small as a peanut, big as a giant, we're all the same size when we turn off the light. Rich as a sultan, poor as a mite, we're all worth the same when we turn off the light. Red, black, or orange, yellow, or white, we all look the same when we turn off the light. So maybe the way to make everything right is for God to just reach out and turn off the light. Invisible Boy. And here we see the Invisible Boy in his lovely invisible house, feeding a piece of invisible cheese to a little invisible mouse. Oh, what a beautiful picture to see. Will you draw an invisible picture for me? Tight hat. I tried to tip my hat to Miss McGaffrey. I never should have put it on so tight, 'cause it wouldn't come off my head, and my neck got stretched instead, and that's what you get for trying to be polite. Peanut butter sandwich. I'll sing you a poem of a silly young king who played with the world at the end of a string, but he only loved one single thing, and that was just a peanut butter sandwich. His scepter and his royal gowns, his regal throne and golden crowns, were brown and sticky from the mounds and dripping from each peanut butter sandwich. His subjects all were silly fools, for he had passed a royal rule that all they could learn in school was how to make a peanut butter sandwich. He would not eat his sovereign steak. He scorned his soup and kingly cake, and told his courtly cook to bake an extra sticky peanut butter sandwich. And then one day he took a bite and started chewing with delight, but found that his mouth was stuck quite tight from the last bite of peanut butter sandwich. His brother pulled, his sister pried, the wizard pushed, his mother cried, "My boy's committed suicide from eating his last peanut butter sandwich." The dentist came and the royal doc, the royal plumber banged and knocked, but still those jaws stayed tightly locked. Oh darn that sticky peanut butter sandwich. The carpenter he tried with pliers, the telephone man tried with wires, the firemen they tried with fire, but couldn't melt that peanut butter sandwich. With ropes and pulleys, drills and coil, with steam and lubricating oil, for 20 years of tears and toil, they fought that awful peanut butter sandwich. Then all his royal subjects came, they hooked his jaws with grappling chains, and pulled both ways with might and main against that stubborn peanut butter sandwich. Each man and woman, girl and boy, put down their plows and pots and toys, and pulled until crack! Oh joy! They broke right through that peanut butter sandwich. A puff of dust A screech, a squeak, the king's jaw opened with a creak, and then in voice so faint and weak, the first words that they heard him speak were, "How about a peanut butter sandwich?" Lazy Jane. Lazy, 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 lazy Jane. She wants a drink of water, so she waits and waits and waits and waits and waits for it to rain. The Edge of the World. Columbus said that the world is round. Don't you believe a word of that? For I've been down to the edge of the world, sat on the edge where the wild wind whirled, peeked over the ledge where the blue smoke curls, and I can tell you, boys and girls, the world is flat. Santa and the Reindeer. This is the hour, said Santa Claus. The bells ring merrily. Then on his back he slung his pack, and into his sleigh climbed he. On Dancer, on Prancer, on Donner and Blitzen, on Comet and Cupid, cried he. And all the reindeers leaped but one, and that one stood silently. He had pulled his sleigh for 1,000 years, and never a word spoke he. Now he stood in the snow, and he whispered low, "What do you have for me?" "I have games and toys for girls and boys," said Santa cheerily. The reindeer stood as if made of wood. "But what do you have for me?" "The socks are hung, the bells are rung," cried Santa desperately. The reindeer winked at a falling star. "But what do you have for me?" Then Santa reached into his beard, and he found a tiny flea, and he put it into the reindeer's ear. And the reindeer said, "For me? Oh, gee!" And into the blue away they flew, and they flew with the flea. And the moral of this Yuletide tale you know as well as me. The Toucan. Tell me who can catch a toucan? Lucan. Just how few can ride the toucan? Toucan. What kind of goo can stick you to the toucan? Glue can. Who can write some more about the toucan? You can. The planet of Mars. On the planet of Mars, they have clothes just like ours, and they have the same shoes and same laces, and they have the same charms and same graces, and they have the same heads and same faces, but not in the very same places. Love. Ricky was L, but he's home with the flu. Lizzie was O, had some homework to do. Mitchell was E, probably got lost on the way. So I'm all of love that could make it today. The dirtiest man in the world. Oh, I'm Dirty Dan, the world's dirtiest man. I never have taken a shower. I can't see my shirt, it's so covered with dirt, and my ears have enough to grow flowers. But the water is either a little too hot or else it's a little too cold. I'm musty and dusty and patchy and scratchy and mangy and covered with mold. But the water is always a little too hot or else it's a little too cold. I live in a pen with 5 hogs and a hen, and 3 squizzly lizards who creep in my bed, and they itch as I squirm and I twitch in the cruddy old sheets that I sleep in. If you look down my throat with a flashlight, you'd note that my insides are coated with rust. I creak when I walk, and I squeak when I talk, and each time I sneeze I blow dust. The thought of a towel and some soap makes me howl, and when people have something to tell me, they don't come and tell it, they stand back and yell it. I think they're afraid they might smell me. The bedbugs that leap on me sing me to sleep, and the garbage flies buzz me awake. They're the best friends I've found, and I fear they might drown, so I never go too near a lake. Each evening at 9, I sit down to dine with the termites who live in my chair, and I joke with the bats and have intimate chats with the cooties who crawl through my hair. I'd brighten my life if I just found a wife, but I fear that never will be until I can find a girl gentle and kind, with a beautiful face and a sensitive mind, who sparkles and twinkles and glistens and shines, and who's almost as dirty as me. Point of view. Thanksgiving dinners sad and thankless, Christmas dinners dark and blue, when you stop and try to see it from the turkey's point of view. Sunday dinner isn't sunny, Easter feasts are just bad luck, when you see it from the viewpoint of a chicken or a duck. Oh, how I once loved tuna salad, pork and lobsters, lamb chops too, till I stopped and looked at dinner from the dinner's point of view. Magical eraser. She wouldn't believe this pencil has a magical eraser. She said I was a silly moo. She said I was a liar too. She dared me prove that it was true, and so what could I do? I erased her. Spaghetti. Spaghetti, spaghetti, all over the place. Up to my elbows, up to my face. Over the carpet and under the chairs, into the hammock and wound round the stairs, filling the bathtub and covering the desk, making the sofa a mad, mushy mess. The party is ruined, I'm terribly worried. The guests have all left, unless they are buried. I told them bring presents, I said throw confetti. I guess they heard wrong, 'cause they all threw spaghetti. Helping. Agatha Fry, she made a pie, and Christopher John helped bake it. Christopher John, he mowed the lawn, and Agatha Fry helped rake it. Zachary Zugg took out the rug, and Jennifer Joy helped shake it. And Jennifer Joy, she made a toy, and Zachary Zugg helped break it. And some kind of help is the kind of help that helping's all about. And some kind of help is the kind of help we all can do without. If I had a brontosaurus. If I had a brontosaurus, I would name him Horace or Morris. But if suddenly one day he had a lot of little brontosauri, I would change his name to Lori. Benjamin Bunn. Poor Benjamin Bunn from Wilmington. His buttons will not come undone. He hasn't changed his clothes since last July. And why? 'Cause no one can unbutton him, no matter how they try, poor guy. And all that he can take off are his socks and shoes and tie, and all that he can do is sit and bite his tongue and cry. And he cannot take a bath, so just lets the water run, and he can't go to the toilet, and he can't get any sun. And life just isn't any fun for Benjamin Bunn from Wilmington, whose buttons will not come undone. The battle. Would you like to hear of the terrible night when I bravely fought the... No? Alright. Minnow Minnie. May I ask you if you've noticed, may I ask you if you've seen my Minnow Minnie who was swimmin' in your Ovaltine? For you've gone and drunk it up, dear, and she isn't in the cup, dear, and she's nowhere to be found, dear. Do you think she has drowned, dear? The Razor-Tailed Wren. The razor-tailed wren, he'll pretend he's your friend, as he cuts all the grass on your lawn, but do not leave anything sticking far out, or swishity, it will be gone. The Bloath. In the undergrowth there dwells a Bloath, who feeds upon poets and tea. Luckily, I know this about him, while he knows nothing of me. The Yip-Yuck. In the swamp lands long ago, where the weeds and mudglumps grow, a Yip-Yuck bit on my toe. Exactly why, I do not know. I kicked and cried and hollered, oh! The Yip-Yuck would not let go. I whispered to him soft and low. The Yip-Yuck would not let go. I shouted stop, desist, and whoa! The Yip-Yuck would not let go. Yes, that was 16 years ago, and the Yip-Yuck still won't let go. The snow may fall, the winds may blow, the Yip-Yuck will not let go. The snow may melt, the grass may grow, the yippee-yuck will not let go. I drag him round each place I go, this yippee-yuck that won't let go. And now, my child, at last you know exactly why I walk so slow. What's in the sack? What's in the sack? What's in the sack? Is it some mushrooms or is it the moon? Is it love letters or downy goose feathers? Or maybe the world's most enormous balloon? What's in the sack? That's all they ask me. Could it be popcorn or marbles or books? Is it 2 years' worth of your dirty laundry or the biggest old meatball that's ever been cooked? Does anyone ask me, hey, when is your birthday? Can you play Monopoly? Do you like beans? What is the capital of Yugoslavia? Or who embroidered that rose on your jeans? No. What's in the sack? That's all they care about. Is it a rock or a rolled up giraffe? Is it pickles or nickels or busted bicycles? And if we guess it, will you give us half? Do they ask where I've been or how long I'll be stayin', where I'll be goin' or when I'll be back, or how do or what's new, or hey, why are you blue? No, all they keep asking is what's in the sack? What's in the sack? I'm blowin' my stack at the next one who asks me, what's in the sack? What? Oh no, not you too. Won't you? Barbara's eyes are blue as azure, but she is in love with Freddie. Karen's sweet, but Harry has her. Gentle Jane is going steady. Carol hates me, so does May. Abigail will not be mine. Nancy lives too far away. Won't you be my Valentine? Alice. She drank from a bottle called Drink Me, and up she grew so tall. She ate from a plate called Taste Me, and down she shrank so small. And so she changed, while other folks never tried nothin' at all. Shadow wash. I've never washed my shadow out in all the time I've had it. It was absolutely filthy, I supposed, and so today I peeled it off the wall where it was leaning, and stuck it in the washtub with the clothes. I put in soap and bleach and stuff. I let it soak for hours. I wrung it out and hung it out to dry, and whoever would have thunk that it would have gone and shrunk, for now it's so much littler than I. Recipe for a hippopotamus sandwich. A hippo sandwich is easy to make. All you do is simply take 1 slice of bread, 1 slice of cake, some mayonnaise, 1 onion ring, 1 hippopotamus, 1 piece of string, a dash of pepper, that ought to do it. And now comes the problem, biting into it. 18 flavors. 18 luscious, scrumptious flavors. Chocolate, lime, and cherry. Coffee, pumpkin, fudge, banana. Caramel, cream, and boysenberry. Rocky road and toasted almond. Butterscotch, vanilla dip. Butter, brickle, apple, ripple. Coconut, and mocha chip. Brandy, peach, and lemon custard. Each scoop lovely, smooth and round. Tallest ice cream cone in town. Lying there on the ground. Poor Angus. Oh, what do you do, poor Angus, when hunger makes you cry? I fix myself an omelette, sir, of fluffy clouds and sky. Oh, what do you wear, poor Angus, when winds blow down the hills? I sew myself a warm cloak, sir, of hope and daffodils. Oh, who do you love, poor Angus, when Catherine's left the moor? Ah, then, sir, there's the only time I feel I'm really poor. What a day! What a day! Oh, what a day! My baby brother ran away, and now my tuba will not play. I'm 8 years old and turning gray. Oh, what a day! Oh, what a day! Ma and God. God gave us fingers, Ma says. Use your fork. God gave us voices. Ma says, don't scream. Ma says eat broccoli, cereal, and carrots, but God gave us tasties for maple ice cream. God gave us fingers, Ma says use your hanky. God gave us puddles, Ma says don't splash. Ma says be quiet, your father is sleeping, but God gave us garbage can covers to crash. God gave us fingers, Ma says put your gloves on. God gave us raindrops, Ma says don't get wet. Ma says be careful and don't get too near to those strange lovely dogs that God gave us to pet. God gave us fingers, Ma says go wash 'em, but God gave us coal bins and nice dirty bodies. And I ain't too smart, but there's one thing for certain, either Ma's wrong or else God is. Bang clang. I'm Big Barney Zang of the railroad gang. My partner is Charlie O'Flynn, and I hold the nails for the big steel rails, and Charlie, he hammers 'em in. And most of the time, he does just fine. But now and again he fails. Maybe tomorrow I'll hammer 'em in, and let Charlie hold the nails. Traffic light. The traffic light simply would not turn green, so the people stopped to wait. As the traffic rolled and the wind blew cold, and the hour grew dark and late. Zoom, varoom, trucks, trailers, bikes, and limousines, clatterin' by. Me, oh my, won't that light turn green? But the days turned weeks, and the weeks turned months, and there on the corner they stood, twiddlin' their thumbs till the changin' comes, the way good people should. And if you walk by that corner now, you may think it's rather strange to see them there as they hopefully gaze, with the very same smile on their very same face, as they patiently stand in the very same place and wait for the light to change. Me stew. I have nothing to put in my stew, you see, not a bone or a bean or a black-eyed pea, so I'll just climb in the pot to see if I can make a stew out of me. I'll put in some pepper and salt and I'll sit in the bubbling water, and I won't scream a bit. I'll sing while I simmer, I'll smile while I'm stewing, I'll taste myself often to see how I'm doing. To stir me around with this big wooden spoon and serve myself up at 1/4 to noon. So bring out your stew bowls, you gobblers and snackers. Farewell, and I hope you enjoy me with crackers. Double-tailed dog. Would you like to buy a dog with a tail at either end? He is quite the strangest dog there is in town, though he's not too good at knowing just exactly where he's going. He is very, very good at sitting down. He doesn't have a place to put a collar, and I'll admit it's rather hard to lead him, and he cannot hear you call, for he has no ears at all. But it doesn't cost a single cent to feed him. He cannot bite, he'll never bark or growl. Just scratch him on his tail, he'll find it pleasing. But you'll have to take him out for twice as many walks, and I'll bet that you can quickly guess the reason. Paul Bunyan. He rode through the woods on a big blue ox. He had fists as hard as choppin' blocks, 500 pounds and 9 feet tall. That's Paul. Talk about workin'. When he swung his axe, you could hear it ring for 1.5 miles. Then he'd yell timber, and down she'd fall. For Paul. Talk about drinkin'. That man's so mean that he'd never drink nothin' but kerosene, and a 5-gallon can is a little bit small for Paul. Talk about tough. Well, he once had a fight with a thunderstorm on a cold, dark night. I ain't sayin' who won, but it don't storm at all round here, thanks to Paul. He was 90 years old when he said with a sigh, I think I'm gonna lay right down and die. 'Cause sunshine and sorrow, I've seen it all, says Paul. He says, there ain't no man alive can kill me, ain't no woman round can thrill me, and I think heaven just might be a ball, says Paul. So he died, and we cried. It took 18 men just to bust the ground. It took 24 more to lower him down. And we covered him up and we figured that was all for Paul. But late one night the trees started shakin', the dogs started howlin', and the earth started quakin', and out of the ground, with a "Hi, y'all," come Paul. He shook the dirt from off of his clothes, he scratched his butt, and he wiped his nose. "You know, bein' dead was no fun at all," says Paul. He says, "Up in heaven they got harps on their knees, they got clouds and wings, but they got no trees. I don't think that's much of a heaven at all," says Paul. So he jumps on his ox with a fare thee well. He says, "I'll find out if there's trees in hell." And he rode away, and that was all we ever seen of Paul. But the next time you hear a timber yell, that sounds like it's comin' from the pits of hell. Then a weird and devilish ghostly wail, like somebody's choppin' on the devil's tail. Then a shout, a call, a crash, a fall. That ain't no mortal man at all. That's Paul. Dancing Pants. And now for the dancing pants, doing their fabulous dance. From the seat to the pleat, they will bounce to the beat. With no legs inside them and no feet beneath, they'll twirl and whirl and jiggle and prance. So just start the music and give them a chance. Let's have a big hand for their wonderful, marvelous, super sensational, utterly fabulous, talented dancing pants. I won't hatch. Oh, I'm a chickie who lives in an egg, but I will not hatch, I will not hatch. The hens they all cackle, the roosters all beg, but I will not hatch, I will not hatch. For I hear all the talk of pollution and war, as the people all shout and the airplanes roar. So I'm staying in here where it's safe and it's warm, and I will not hatch. With his mouth full of food. Milford Dupree, though he knew it was rude, talked with his mouth full of food. He would never burp or walk out in the nude, but he talked with his mouth full of food. His mother said, "Milford, it's crude and it's lewd to talk with your mouth full of food." Why, even the milk cow who mooed as she chewed never mooed with her mouth full of food. And the cuckoo would never have ever cuckooed if he cooed with his mouth full of food. His dad said, "Get married or go get tattooed, but don't talk with your mouth full of food." If it was a crime, you would surely get sued if you talked with your mouth full of food. Why, just like an animal, you should be zooed as you talk with your mouth full of food. For you know we're all put in a terrible mood when you talk with your mouth full of food. They pleaded and begged, he just giggled and chewed, and laughed with his mouth full of food. And all they advised him, he simply pooh-poohed. He pooh-poohed with his mouth full of food. So they sent for the gluer and had his mouth glued, 'cause he talked with his mouth full of food. Now instead of good morning, he says, "Good morning, I won't talk with my mouth full of food." My hobby. When you spit from the 26th floor and it floats on the breeze to the ground, does it fall upon hats or on white Persian cats or on heads with a pity-pat sound? I used to think life was a bore, but I don't feel that way anymore. As I count up the hits, as I smile, as I sit, as I spit from the 26th floor. Instructions. If you should ever choose to bathe an armadillo, use 1 bar of soap and a whole lot of hope, and 72 pads of Brillo. The worst. When singing songs of scariness, of bloodiness and hairiness, I feel obligated at this moment to remind you of the most ferocious beast of all, 3,000 pounds and 9 feet tall, the glurpy, slurpy Skakagraw, who's standing right behind you. The bagpipe who didn't say no. It was 9 o'clock at midnight, at a quarter after 3, when a turtle met a bagpipe on the shore-side by the sea. And the turtle said, "My dearie, may I sit with you? I'm weary." And the bagpipe didn't say no. Said the turtle to the bagpipe, I have walked this lonely shore. I have talked to the waves and pebbles, but I have never loved before. Will you marry me today, dear? Is it no you're going to say, dear? But the bagpipe didn't say no. Said the turtle to his darling, please excuse me if I stare, but you have the plattest skin, dear, and you have the strangest hair. If I begged you pretty please, love, could I give you just one squeeze, love? But the bagpipe didn't say no. Said the turtle to the bagpipe, ah, you love me, then confess. Let me whisper in your dainty ear and hold you to my chest. And he cuddled her and teased her, and so lovingly he squeezed her, and the bagpipe said, Auga! Said the turtle to the bagpipe, did you honk or bray or neigh? For Auga, when you're kissed, is such a heartless thing to say. Is it that I have offended? Is it that our love is ended? And the bagpipe didn't say no. Said the turtle to the bagpipe, shall I leave you, darling wife? Shall I waddle off to Woedom? Shall I crawl out of your life? Shall I move, depart, and go, dear? Oh, I beg you, tell me no, dear. But the bagpipe didn't say no. So the turtle crept off crying, and he ne'er came back no more, and he left the bagpipe lying on that smooth and sandy shore. And some night when tide is low there, just walk up and say hello there, and politely ask the bagpipe if his story's really so. I assure you, darling children, that the bagpipe won't say no. Rudy Felsch. Rudy Felsch knows how to belch better than anyone ever did. Margot says that Rudy Felsch is a nasty, vulgar kid. Some day he will go to hell, or jail, or Canada, but now, every night I pray the first, Rudy Felsch will show me how. Fred? From out of the cold Caribbean into the desert Libyan, there crawled a strange amphibian, and we shall call him Fred. You say let's call him Ted? Or maybe Lou or Jed? But I want to call him Fred. You like Maurice instead? Or Barnaby or Red? Or Lucifer or Ned? Well, anyway, he's dead. The Long-Haired Boy. There was a boy in our town with long hair. I mean really long hair. And everybody pointed at him, and laughed at him and made fun of him. And when he walked down the street, the people would roar, and stick their tongues out, and make funny faces, and run in and slam their door, and shout at him from the window until he couldn't stand it any more. So he sat down and cried till his whole body shook, and pretty soon his hair shook too, and it flapped and flapped, and he lifted and flew. Straight up in the air, like a helicopter, Jenny Ricks saw him and dropped her, knitting and screamed, "It's a flying kid!" Lukey Hastings ran and hid under Old Man Merrill's car. Miss Terence fainted. Henry Quist tried to shoot him down, but missed. "I thought he was a crow," he said, and round he sailed all through the day, smiling in the strangest way. With the wind in his hair and the sun in his eyes, we saw him swoop and bank and rise. He brushed the treetops and skimmed the grass on Yerby's lawn and almost crashed right into Hanson's silo, but zoomed up in time and almost hit the courthouse. Old man coolly bit right through his napkin when he saw a kid fly through the diner door and out of the window, tipping the ladder. Where Smokey was painting, he almost had a heart attack. He clung to a rafter. The kid flew on, us running after, cheering and sweating and screaming, "Hooray!" Mayor Lowry shouted, "Hey, come down here, kid. We'd like to say how proud of you we are today. Whoever thought our little town would have a hero in it? So I'd like to proclaim this day. Hey, kid, will you please come down for just a minute?" But the flying kid did not come down. He treaded air above the town, sort of crying and looking down at all of us here on the ground. Then up he flew, up into the clouds, flapping and flying so far and high, out past the hills and into the sky, until a tiny speck against the sun was all we could see of him. Then he was gone. Band-Aids. I have a band-aid on my finger, one on my knee, and one on my nose, one on my heel, and two on my shoulder, three on my elbow, and nine on my toes, two on my wrist, and one on my ankle, one on my chin, and one on my thigh, four on my belly, and five on my bottom, one on my forehead, and one on my eye, one on my neck, and in case I might need 'em, I have a box full of 35 more. But oh, I do think it's sort of a pity I don't have a cut or a sore. Dreadful. Someone ate the baby. It's rather hard to say. Someone ate the baby, so she won't be out to play. We'll never hear her whiny cry, or have to feel if she is dry. We'll never hear her asking why. Someone ate the baby. Someone ate the baby. It's absolutely clear. Someone ate the baby, 'cause the baby isn't here. We'll give away her toys and clothes. We'll never have to wipe her nose. Dad says that's the way it goes. Someone ate the baby. Someone ate the baby. What a frightful thing to eat. Someone ate the baby, though she wasn't very sweet. It was a heartless thing to do. The policemen haven't got a clue. I simply can't imagine who would go and eat the baby. Skinny. Skinny McGuinn was so terribly thin that while taking his bath a Sunday night, out popped the plug, and sloosh, swoosh, and glug, glug, it washed Skinny right down the drain, out of sight. And where is our dear Skinny, bathing tonight? In some underground pool down below? Or up there so high, in the tub in the sky, where all of the clean people go? The Land of Happy. Have you been to the Land of Happy, where everything's happy all day, where they joke and they sing of the happiest things, and everything's jolly and gay? There's no one unhappy in happy. There's laughter and smiles galore. I've been to the Land of Happy. What a bore! Pirate Captain Jim. Walk the plank, says Pirate Jim. But Captain Jim, I cannot swim. Then you must steer us through the gale. But Captain Jim, I cannot sail. Then down with the galley slaves you go. But Captain Jim, I cannot row. Then you must be the pirate's clerk. But Captain Jim, I cannot work. Then a pirate captain you must be. Thank you, Jim, says Captain Me. Fish? The little fish eats the tiny fish. The big fish eats the little fish. So only the biggest fish gets fat. Do you know any folks like that? If the world was crazy. If the world was crazy, you know what I'd eat? A big slice of soup and a whole quart of meat. A lemonade sandwich, and then I might try some roasted ice cream or bicycle pie. A nice notebook salad and underwear roast, an omelet of hats and some crisp cardboard toast, a thick malted milk made from pencils and daisies, and that's what I'd eat if the world was crazy. If the world was crazy, you know what I'd wear? A chocolate suit and a tie of eclair, some marshmallow earmuffs, some licorice shoes, and I'd read a paper of peppermint news. I'd call the boys Susie and I'd call the girls Harry. I'd talk through my ears, and I always would carry a paper umbrella for when it grew hazy, to keep in the rain if the world was crazy. If the world was crazy, you know what I'd do? I'd walk on the ocean and swim in my shoe. I'd fly through the ground and I'd skip through the air. I'd run down the bathtub and bathe on the stair. When I met somebody, I'd say, "Goodbye, Joe." And when I was leaving, then I'd say, "Hello." And the greatest of men would be silly and lazy, so I would be king if the world was crazy. Stone telling. How do we tell if a window is open? Just throw a stone at it. Does it make a noise? It doesn't? Well, it was open. Now let's try another. Crash! It wasn't. Chester. Chester come to school and said, "Dern, I grewed another head." Teacher said, "It's time you knowed. The word is grew instead of growed." The Silver Fish. While fishing in the blue lagoon, I caught a lovely silver fish, and he spoke to me, "My boy," quoth he, "please set me free, and I'll grant you your wish. A kingdom of wisdom, a palace of gold, or all the goodies your fancies can hold?" So I said, "Okay," and I threw him free, and he swam away and he laughed at me, whispering my foolish wish into a silent sea. Today I caught that fish again, that lovely silver prince of fishes, and once again he offered me if I would only set him free any one of a number of wonderful wishes. He was delicious. Forgotten language. Once I spoke the language of the flowers. Once I understood each word the caterpillar said. Once I smiled in secret at the gossip of the starlings, and shared a conversation with the housefly in my bed. Once I heard and answered all the questions of the crickets, and joined the crying of each falling, dying flake of snow. Once I spoke the language of the flowers. How did it go? How did it go? The Generals. Said General Clay to General Gore, "Oh, must we fight this silly war? To kill and die is such a bore." "I quite agree," said General Gore. Said General Gore to General Clay, "We could go to the beach today and have some ice cream on the way." "A grand idea," said General Clay. Said General Clay to General Gore, "We'll build sand castles on the shore." Said General Gore, "We'll splash and play. Let's leave right now," said General Clay. Said General Gore to General Clay, "But what if the sea is closed today? And what if the sand's been blown away?" "A dreadful thought," said General Clay. Said General Gore to General Clay, "I've always feared the ocean's spray, and we may drown, it's true, we may." "It chills my blood," said General Clay. Said General Clay to General Gore, "My bathing suit is slightly tore. We'd better go on with our war." "I quite agree," said General Gore. Then General Clay charged General Gore as bullets flew and cannons roared, and now, alas, there is no more of General Clay or General Gore. Just me, just me. Sweet Marie, she loves just me. She also loves Maurice McGee. No, she don't. She loves just me. She also loves Louise Dupree. No, she don't. She loves just me. She also loves the willow tree. No, she don't. She loves just me. Poor, poor fool. Why can't you see? She can love others and still love thee. Standing. Standing on my elbow with my finger in my ear, biting on a dandelion and humming kind of queer, while I watched a yellow caterpillar creeping up my wrist, I leaned on a tree, and I said to me, "Why am I doing this?" The One Who Stayed. You should have heard the old men cry, you should have heard the biddies, when that sad stranger raised his flute and piped away the kiddies. Katie, Tommy, Meg, and Bob followed, skipping gaily. Red-haired Ruth, my brother Rob, and little crippled Bailey. John and Nils and cousin Claire, dancin', spinnin', turnin', 'cross the hills to God knows where. They never came returnin'. 'Cross the hills to God knows where the piper pranced a leadin'. Each child in Hamlin town but me, and I stayed home unheedin'. My papa says that I was blessed, for if that music found me, I'd be witch-cast like all the rest. This town grows old around me. I cannot say I did not hear that sound so haunting hollow. I heard, I heard, I heard it clear. I was afraid to follow. Melinda May. Have you heard of tiny Melinda May, who ate a monstrous whale? She thought she could, she said she would, so she started in right at the tail. and everyone said, "You're much too small." But that didn't bother Melinda at all. She took little bites and chewed very slow, just like a good girl should. And in 89 years she ate that whale, because she said she would. The Little Blue Engine. The little blue engine looked up at the hill. His light was weak, his whistle was shrill. He was tired and small, and the hill was tall, and his face blushed red as he softly said, "I think I can, I think I can, I think I can." So he started up with a chug and a strain, and he puffed and pulled with might and main, and slowly he climbed a foot at a time, and his engine coughed as he whispered soft, "I think I can, I think I can, I think I can." With a squeak and a creak and a toot and a sigh, with an extra hope and an extra try, he would not stop now he neared the top, and strong and proud he cried out loud, "I think I can, I think I can, I think I can." He was almost there when crash, smash, bash, he slid down and mashed into engine hash on the rocks below, which goes to show if the track is tough and the hill is rough, thinking you can just ain't enough. Afraid of the dark. I'm Reginald Clark. I'm afraid of the dark, so I always insist on the light on, and my teddy to hug, and my blanket to rub, and my thummy to suck or to bite on, and 3 bedtime stories, 2 trips to the toilet, 2 prayers, and 5 hugs from mommy. I'm Reginald Clark. I'm afraid of the dark, so please do not close this book on me. Hungry Mungry. Hungry Mungry sat at supper, took his knife and spoon and fork, ate a bowl of mushroom soup, ate a slice of roasted pork, ate a dozen stewed tomatoes, 27 deviled eggs, 15 shrimps, 9 baked potatoes, 32 fried chicken legs, a shank of lamb, a boiled ham, 2 bowls of grits, some black-eyed peas, 4 chocolate shakes, 8 angel cakes, 9 custard pies with Munster cheese, 10 pots of tea, and after he had eaten all that he was able, he poured some broth on the tablecloth and ate the kitchen table. His parents said, "Oh, Hungry Mungy, stop all these silly jokes." Mungry opened up his mouth, and gulp, he ate his folks. And then he went and ate his house, all the bricks and wood, and then he ate up all the people in the neighborhood. Up came 20 angry policemen, shouting, "Stop and cease." Mungry opened up his mouth, and gulp, he ate the police. Soldiers came with tanks and guns, said, "Mungry, they can't harm me." He just smiled and licked his lips and ate the U.S. Army. The president sent all his bombers. Mungry still was calm, put his head back, gulped the planes, and gobbled up the bomb. He ate his town and ate the city, ate and ate and ate. And then he said, "I think I'll eat the whole United States." And so he ate Chicago first and munched the water tower. And then he chewed on Pittsburgh, but he found it rather sour. He ate New York and Tennessee and all of Boston town, then drank the Mississippi River just to wash it down. And when he eaten every state, each puppy, boy and girl, he wiped his mouth upon his sleeve and went to eat the world. He ate the Egypt pyramids and every church in Rome, and all the grass in Africa, and all the ice in Nome. He ate each hill in green Brazil, and then to make things worse, he decided, for dessert, he'd eat the universe. He started with the moon and stars, and soon as he was done, he gulped the clouds, he sipped the wind, and gobbled up the sun. Then sitting there in the cold dark air, he started to nibble his feet, then his legs, then his hips, then his neck, then his lips, till he sat there gnashing his teeth, 'cause nothin' was nothin', was nothin', was nothin', was nothin', was left to eat. My beard. My beard grows to my toes. I never wears no clothes. I wraps my hair around my bear, and down the road I goes. Mary. No one's hanging stockings up. No one's baking pie. No one's looking up to see a new star in the sky. No one's talking brotherhood. No one's giving gifts. And no one loves a Christmas tree on March the 25th. The Search. I went to find the pot of gold that's waiting where the rainbow ends. I searched and searched and searched and searched and searched and searched, and then there it was, deep in the grass, under an old and twisty bough. It's mine, it's mine, it's mine at last. What do I search for now?